You're listening to the Unwritable Rant podcast with your host, author, and occasional misanthrope, Juliette Miranda. Go to theunwritablerant.com and you can subscribe on iTunes or connect with the show on Facebook and Twitter.
Hey there, y'all. This is Juliette Miranda, and you are listening to the Unwritable Rant podcast, episode number 68. Y'all, as I look outside my podcast studio window, I see that it is snowing. And this isn't just some light little flurry of snow. It is pouring down from the sky in wet, nasty sheets. You have no idea how tragic this is. So have a heart, y'all. Join a girl and have it a little bit of bourbon, won't you? Fill up a glass, let's raise them up, and say cheers. Oh, bourbon. All right, y'all, I'm on a little bit of a Colorado bourbon kick these days. Today, I am drinking Breckenridge, Colorado bourbon. And I will be completely honest, if I had known the mash bill of this bourbon before buying it, I probably wouldn't have. This is a very, very rye-heavy bourbon. And it's not that I have anything against rye whiskeys, I just prefer mixing them, not drinking them straight. And quite honestly, I find the Breckenridge to be a little too sweet for my tastes. Not that there's anything wrong with this bourbon, it's perfectly fine. You take that first sip and you get a very, very smooth and creamy sort of mouthfeel, very nice. Then it opens up, you get a little bit of honey, some caramel, and then on the back end it warms up into a little bit of cinnamon and kind of a salty sort of taste. Little bit of spice. Quite honestly, I find this bourbon a little weak for my tastes. It's only 86 proof, although considering it's, 11 o'clock in the morning right now, probably a good thing I'm not knocking back the 121 proof that I normally prefer. So I'll say the Breckenridge, totally even, totally fine, probably not worth the $40 price tag, but still very smooth and easy to drink. And I've got this thing straight up, so what do you say, y'all? Let's knock back another shot. All right. More bourbon is more gooder. And if I'm going to be completely honest, I will say that if anything could drive me to drink more, it would be the month of December. I don't know what it is about this time, but people just go crazy. I've said it before, I will say it again. The holidays are madness. And that craziness extends everywhere, from your regular everyday dealings in stores all the way down to public bathrooms. Now, I have a girlfriend who works as a casting agent. Every so often, she will do me a solid and send me out on a couple of auditions, but most of the time, whenever I visit her offices, it's just to hang out and have lunch with her. Now, she works in one of those ridiculous professional buildings. You know, the ones that are maybe like 4 stories high and are jam-packed with a bunch of square-shaped offices. And it kind of looks like a bunch of shoeboxes stacked on top of each other. I was there the other day and I went to use the restroom. This was probably my first mistake because these public-style office bathrooms are the worst. I mean, women in general are just funky in bathrooms. I don't know what it is. We look all pretty on the outside, but you get us alone in a closed space and we turn into savages. And this particular bathroom is a horrid place. It's roughly the size of 2 upright coffins, and it's meant to accommodate the needs of approximately 30 women. Now I go in there and there's barely enough room for me being a misanthrope, but I make the appropriate adjustments because I'm considerate like that. Of course, the same consideration is not paid by anybody else, which is a shocking testament to the general cleanliness of the bathroom users in that particular vicinity. But what should I care, right? I'm only there once every couple of months, and it's just a bathroom. It's not a lounge or a fainting room. And really, it's not even a place where you can do much more than can be done behind a closed stall door. Although I'll tell you, the women in that building seem to find it suitable for all sorts of things, whether it's toothbrushing or zit popping or the occasional session with a curling iron. Hell, I've even seen women rinsing out their lunch containers. And one time, I saw a woman attempt to crush a half-eaten burrito down the drain. I actually stayed in that bathroom an extra 5 minutes so I could see if she did it or not, and I'll tell you, she did. It was impressive. So while it is mildly annoying to squeeze between makeup bags and salad bowls to use the one sink for hand washing, I do it quietly. Because I get it. Where there is a mirror, a sink, and a door, there will also be psychopathic women considering it some sort of private sanctuary impervious to the laws of common courtesy. Like, I don't know, changing the roll of toilet paper. This may be my biggest pet peeve in life. I don't understand why it is so difficult to do this. You run out of toilet paper, you find a new roll, you put it on the holder, put it in its slots, and you're good to go. 30 seconds max. However, in this particular office building, that must be a tremendous inconvenience because I rarely find toilet paper on the roll. Instead, they prop the toilet paper up on the back of the toilet, which is genius because there it can collect everything that splashes out of the toilet. This time, however, I went into the stall. There's toilet paper in the holder. I think my day is made. Perfect. So I do my business, right? And I go to pull the toilet paper, to get a couple of sheets off of it. But that was my mistake because whatever nitwit had put the roll in ahead of me hadn't actually secured it in its place. So when I pulled, I yanked the entire thing out of the holder, dropped the toilet paper on the ground and the holder, which both proceeded to roll out of the stall, away from me. Now, never mind the grossness of toilet paper landing on a bathroom floor. I needed to get that thing back. Fortunately, however, as it had rolled out of the stall, it bumped into the heel of a woman standing at the sink doing God knows what to her face. So, of course, I'm in my precarious position there. But I think, hey, we're all girls here, right? It's okay. So I call out, excuse me, a little bit of help here? Because it's obvious, right, that I'm in a bit of a predicament. And impossible to ignore. Because when that toilet paper landed on the floor, when the holder landed on the floor, it made a little bit of a ruckus. Tile floor, metal holder, bang, clang, whatever, me yelling out, God damn it. Of course, you're going to hear this happen. And I figure a decent human being will help a girl out, right? Now, I acknowledge it is possible that the woman standing out there in front of the sink was perhaps deaf and blind and mute, and she had an artificial leg. In which case, I apologize for all of the rotten things I started to think about her at that moment, as I sat there, dripping and waiting for somebody to hand me a couple of pieces of toilet paper. But did she? Did she do that? Did she reach down and hand me the toilet paper roll? No. She stepped over it and walked out the goddamn door. I'll tell you, I spent the next 30 minutes going from office to office, checking out every woman's shoes to find out who that little bitch was. And I found her. She didn't work in my girlfriend's office, thankfully. I got her name. I got her office number. And that leaves me here with my bourbon, a little angry, a little volatile, and amazed at the things that can be purchased online. But I do have one question. Exactly how many fire ants are in a pound? And with that, I'm going to suck back a little bit more bourbon and click place order. Hold, please. Oh, I wish this bourbon were stronger. I guess it just means I'm going to have to drink double the amount. Because I really think that's the only way that's going to warm up my Christmas spirit right now. Now, even in my best of moods, you will never find me running the streets and wishing goodwill to everybody. But I'll tell you, my tree is lit. I've got holiday cards out in the mail. And I'm doing my best to not want to cram a fork in anyone's eye. Even the person who one year gave me a drug test for Christmas. Now, way back when, I used to work in corporate America, and it was definitely not a good fit for me. I simply don't follow rules very well, obviously. And that one particular Christmas Eve to be exact, I was sitting at my desk, and I was visited by the little elf from the Human Resources office. Now, she called that drug test random, but I knew better. Spot checks from Santa Claus are never random. Now, admittedly, back then, my resemblance to Hunter S. Thompson was probably a little too uncanny for the corporate nice list. Either that or my 4-inch heels gave the illusion of my being a crack whore. Which, considering the ice coating the ground that day, wasn't exactly a foregone conclusion. I mean, really, what kind of idiot besides a crack whore wears stilettos in the winter? Clearly me. Now, random or otherwise, my drug test was still in perfect keeping with the traditions of the joyous season. Seriously, when that giggling Human Resources rep visited my desk, claiming to be bearing a gift, I never once thought it would be a holiday bonus. No, that notification of a drug test was exactly what I wanted. Lord knows when I saw it, I could hardly wait to pee on something. Now, she assured me, of course, that I had all of the privacy and confidentiality in the world. Not that it needed to be said, because what's more private than being lumped in with a group of other random coworkers and paraded to the lobby restroom like a chain gang? Now, holiday presents wouldn't be the same without some measure of suspense. Fortunately, the elf from the medical facility who would be administering my pee test had forgotten to bring consent forms. Now, of course, that left us to hang out in the lobby because there was potential for one of us to sneak a peek or prematurely exchange gifts and ruin all of this holiday fun, so they kept us quarantined. I used that time to stand on a soapbox. Not that anybody cared, of course. And what a relief it was to not have to think twice about that consent form when it was finally delivered, because Big Brother was holding my hand warmly, and I signed that form under the crisp glow of job security. I even swore I could smell something roasting in the background. Now, whether that was chestnuts or human flesh, I couldn't quite be sure, but no matter. I felt light and free after giving up all of my rights, and we all did, so we formed a little queue and waited our turn with the elf. I'll tell you, no line to Santa has ever been quite so anxious. The difference, I suppose, is that those in line at Macy's don't chug 3 sequential bottles of cranberry juice within 30 minutes of meeting the bearded wonder. So I was more than ready to sit on that Christmas throne when my turn finally came. Santa's little helper offered me a container for my holiday gift and escorted me to the approved stall. Well, I have proof that the holidays are truly full of magic and wonderment. Because just as I had situated myself with my cup, the door of the stall miraculously blew open. Was it the baby Jesus? Did an angel get its wings? Oh, it could have been anything, y'all. All I know is that as I staggered to shut the door, one hand gripping my cup, the other my pants, all of my holiday spirit just vanished like Santa up a fucking chimney. Several red candy cane-like lines later, and I was cleared to return to work, which was a little bit of a holiday miracle to be sure. But it was also a relief because everyone knows that Santa does not like drug puppies. Well, I went home that night and did a little bit of research just to see how the holidays are celebrated around the world. And it turns out drug testing is just one of the many practices. In Yugoslavia, for example, children are allowed to tie their parents to a chair and hold them for ransom. In Portugal, the dead are invited to sit and partake of the holiday meal. And in Wales, a person carrying a horse skull on a spike gets to chase villagers around until they're paid to go away, which actually sounds like something I could kind of get into. Anyway, I have found new ways to make a living outside of the corporate world, and I can celebrate the season now with hearty slugs of bourbon and my hot chocolate all goddamn day if I want to. On a good night, you might just be lucky enough to catch me hammered enough to sing an off-key rendition of Santa Baby or I Want a Hippopotamus for Christmas. And you know what there's no mention of in either of those songs? Pee tests. Go figure. I'm going to have some more bourbon, y'all. Hang on. All right, bourbon. Well, I am going to go and try and improve my holiday mood. Fingers crossed, no promises. In the meantime, if you want to hear more of my crazy drunken misadventures, just go to theunwritablерant.com. Or hit me up on Twitter. I am at Morning Neurosis. Send me your bourbon recommendations and I will do my best to drink them all on the show. It is my goal in 2017 to try a world of new bourbon, and I'm going to need your help to do that, so please send me suggestions. The more obscure, the better. And with that, I hope you all have a great week. I hope it stops snowing. And with any luck, I will be back next Sunday to chat and hang out and drink with y'all again. Cheers, y'all.
You was pretty as a Sunday morning, standing on the corner at Carondelet. What you say we make our way up to Bourbon, a couple hurricanes and a hand grenade, and get blown away and let the chips fall where they may. If it's all the same, what you say, Pretty mama, I can smell the gumbo. Sweetest taste of honeysuckle on my lips. Good God Almighty, I can hear the trombone. Every heart ought to beat to a rhythm like this. Come a little closer, honey, let me hold you. Nothing tastes better than a bourbon kiss. You can be the flower on my magnolia. Every heart ought to beat to a rhythm like this.